What's up everybody, this is Marnik van den Broek and welcome to a brand new video. In this video I'm going to talk about how you can better remember your story, your speech, your presentation when you're in a one-to-one conversation, on stage, or in a meeting. If you like the video, subscribe, follow, put notifications on. You know how it works. But without further ado, let's dive in and show you how you can better remember your story.
Are you listening? Damn.
Now, before we dive into the two techniques that I use, you have to understand how the human brain works, how our memory works. We love narrative. We love a story. Just random information we cannot remember or have a hard time remembering. But the moment it's linked to each other and it's becoming a story, people tend to remember. The second thing is the place, the timing, the setting. If I can situate it literally or in my mind, I have an easier time remembering it. And if you then combine it with emotion, something that I feel, joy, happiness, anger, sadness, no matter what it is, I will remember it more. That's why when people come to me and I haven't seen them for years, but they spotted me somewhere at an event or with a client or in a training, they always say the same thing. They say, Marnik, I don't know if you remember me, but I saw you there in that year, place and timing, and you talked about that one story with the sandwiches. Story, anecdotes, experience, that's what people love. And it made me laugh so hard, I still think about it. They always combine story, place, time, setting, and emotion. Check it with your friends. The moment they are picking up memories, it's always a combination of these three. And you can use that to help yourself memorize your own speech, your own story, your own presentation. And the first technique based on that I use, and it might sound a bit abstract, but is identify with your story first. If you're building a story, if you're gathering information that you want to share somewhere with your colleagues or your boss or whatever, identify with it. Bring it as close as possible to you. Because if I ask you to share random information that is maybe linked to your business, just data, graphs, certain interpretations, and you're just sharing a message, you're just sharing a message, you're just sharing information. It's really hard to remember. But if I, for example, ask you, how was your weekend? How did your partner propose to get married or engaged? How do I practice your favorite hobby? No matter where I ask you, when, you will have no trouble remembering that story and telling me that story because you lived it, you experienced it, it's close to you. You know exactly how your partner proposed, what he or she did at what moment, when, how I should practice your favorite hobby, and you have an emotion with it because you experienced it. It's close to you, so you get joyful or you had a really sad weekend. It's really easy to do. So identify with it. You need to be able to tell your story to me as you would answer the question, how was your weekend? If you can do that, then you have a big backbone core of your message. And you might tell it differently 3 times in 3 different meetings, but the main message will always say the same and you won't have the stress of, oh my God, I'm going to forget something. Now, the second technique is based most on the first part, the story part, is when someone gives me a lot of information or when I was studying school history books. That's a lot of data. That's a lot of information to remember. There's a lot of timelines to remember and to put into the right order. When I'm preparing a training of a couple of hours, a hosting, a speech of an hour, it's a lot of information. But I first ignore the cloud of information and first focus on how does it all link together? How can I connect all these dots and make it and give it a narrative, give it a link, a logical order, and make it a journey? Let's give it a simple example. Let's stick with the weekend. If you have to talk about your weekend and you took a shower, you ate vegetables, you met up with friends, you had a barbecue, you went to the store, you have to remember all these pieces of information. And it's possible, but there's also a possibility that you will forget under stress or other things from your environment when you're in that meeting or on stage. Now, if you focus first on linking them together and trying to remember your story when you're practicing on just the links and giving it an action and a consequence, it will be much easier to remember. Let me give you an example. The links. Because I didn't have vegetables, we went to the store. Because we went to the store, I had time to preheat the barbecue. Because we had to wait for the vegetables in the barbecue, I could take a shower. And if you can remember that, then you have your backbone of your story. And then you can start adding details and data and graphs and things like that. And you will see that you will have an easier time remembering. And even if you're under a lot of stress, you still have that main foundation. And you will see that you don't need to learn everything by heart. You will see that you don't need to have extensive notes or use autocue on stage, because you can trust yourself, because your memory knows what to do. I was Marnik van den Broek. You were awesome. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.